Hi, Mark from Whole Latte Love. Morgan is with me today.
Hey Mark, what do we have today?
So today we're going to take a look at two of the slimmer super automatic one-touch espresso machines. We have the Gaggia Anima, this is the Prestige model, and then we have the Saeco Gran Baristo. So both very similar, they're both very, very slim machines. And we say one-touch super automatic, we mean a machine that can make a drink like a latte or a cappuccino at the touch of a button without moving your cup. And that's why you see the crafts here. These have attachable crafts, both of them. So first the outside, as you can see, the Gaggia's just a little shorter, 13.4 inches, whereas the Saeco comes in at 14 and a quarter. That's important if you have overhanging cabinets. Typically those are 18 inches high. And there are some things that you need to access at the top of these machines, so you want to keep those clearances in mind. On the exterior, on the Gaggia Anima, we have stainless steel up top, stainless steel on the front, and metal drip tray. The Saeco Gran Baristo here, it's all plastic, front, top, sides, and some metal on the drip tray here. So let's get in and we'll take a look at the Anima here. Just going over both machines, they're kind of similar. So we have a water reservoir up here. This is removable. And you can see that's about how high you have to get. That's a clearance you're going to need there to get that out if you have overhanging cabinetry. But a lot of people will put these next to a sink and just fill it with a hose. Then over on the other side, this is where our fresh whole bean coffee goes. And we have an adjustable ceramic burr grinder in here. So you'd use a tool here, you press down to adjust your grind setting. We like it finer for espresso, coarser for longer coffees. And then if you want to use some pre-ground coffee, you can access that. So you use a scoop to scoop in your pre-ground coffee. Very nice for your decaf coffee later in the day if you want to do that. Let's compare the Saeco over here. So we have our bean hopper is back here, and again, it's got that adjustable grinder right here. Then our water reservoir is over here. This one you have to come up just a little bit higher, so you've got to come up that much to get that out of there. Then our bypass doser is right here, so you can scoop your pre-ground coffee in there.
Okay.
All right. So back over to the Gaggia. So we're going to take, what we have on both machines is a water spout. So this is dispensing hot water for oatmeal or tea or those kinds of things. And then the milk carafes. So you can just keep this in your fridge. When you want a milk-based drink, you pop this on, like so, push this over. Now, what I like about both of these machines, a lot of machines don't have a lot of clearance on the spouts. On both of these, you can fit a 6-inch glass underneath there. So what we're going to do is show you how easy it is to program the Anima here. We're going to do a latte macchiato. So to program on the Anima, there's no menu programming on it. It's all just using press and hold. So there's our latte macchiato button right below the cappuccino one. So I'm just going to press and hold that. Now it's telling me to make sure I have my milk carafe in place and going. So you hear the grinder running, so it's going to grind our espresso beans. You can see the machine's heating up. It's got to build up some steam to actually froth our milk.
And that memo that's on the display right now, that means you're in programming
Yes.
mode?
So when I get the amount of milk that I want in my glass, I'm just going to hit, there's a check button over here. It's the same button as aroma and strength. Okay. So once we get the milk that we want, we'll just press that button up here. So we've got our milk going into our glass. Now one thing, we have measured the froth on this. It's a nice temperature. You know, you're usually looking around 140 degrees, and that's what we were getting with the Anima. A lot of environmental factors would determine, you know, the temperature of your milk you're starting with and that kind of thing. So, and you'll let the milk go just a little bit longer. You see, there's our check mark. So once I have the amount of milk I want, press that, the milk will stop, and now it's going to do our espresso. And the same thing, once I have the amount of espresso that I want in my glass, I'll end up hitting that check again. And you'll see that the nice layers that we'll get here on the latte macchiato.
So all the drink buttons, there's 4 drink buttons on
Yes.
this machine, and all have the same programmability.
Yeah, they all work the same way. So over on here, you know, espresso lungo, and then the cappuccino. So it all works the same way. When you get what you want, you just hit the check, and then it'll store that amount. Now you can always stop a drink at any time if, like, maybe you got the wrong glass under there or something.
Just by hitting
by hitting your button again, yeah. So there we go. There's our latte macchiato. You see we got the nice layers going there. Isn't that beautiful? So you do have, now the Gaggia Anima Prestige is a very, very simple machine to operate because, oh, and see, I want you to notice here how it's saying clean right now. So I would have an option If I hit the check mark right now, it blows some steam and hot water through the milk system to keep it very clean. But the very simple menu system, so when you go in on the Prestige here, so we can get into this, if we wanted, so we have a couple other drinks available, and so we'll go take a look at those, and we'll hit the check mark, so we can get hot water or just milk froth here. So if you're doing tea or you wanted some hot milk froth for a hot chocolate or something like that, you can get that there. To return, very simple. So let's just take a look at the menu that you have here. So this is the main menu, and again, it's not complex at all, so you can adjust the coffee temperature here. You have 3 of them. And as we go down, we can set a time for the machine from 15 minutes to 3 hours just to kind of go into standby and save a lot of power. You can change the display contrast. You will get a water hardness test strip with the machine. You'll enter that information here. And then also you can use, let me just show you that. The machines can use a water filter, would go right in here. We do recommend using those. And if you're using one, you tell the machine that we're going to do that. Then based on your water hardness and using the filter and how many coffees you've made, it'll tell you when to do the descaling. And that's the extent of the menu on the Anima. It's one of the simplest to operate machines that I've come across. As far as your coffee strength, you have 5 strength levels. And then so I press once more beyond the strongest. That takes us to telling it we want to use a bypass doser. And then we're right back up there. And you have the 5 strengths.
Okay.
So very, very simple and easy to use. I just love the way, you just pop this off, pop it back in the fridge until you're ready to make another one.
Mm-hmm. And all the components on that milk carafe are dishwasher safe. Both milk carafes on each machine are dishwasher safe.
And then you have an adjustable spout here, so if you want to come down to a shot glass for an espresso, and I'm just going to run one real quick so we can see what that looks like. A couple other things to notice here. I really like the drip tray here because it has a raised edge here, so any spill on here is not going to come over the sides at all. And we'll see on the Gran Baristo, it has that drip tray but no raised edge, so it's the chance you get some spillage over the edge. Kind of unlikely, but it could happen. So there's our espresso. You can see we have some nice crema going. I'd already programmed this one for just a little over an ounce there. And also another thing with the Anima here, it can use a relatively high dose. If you're up on the strongest setting, you can get up to 11.5 grams of coffee ground for your shot. And that's a lot, where your average shot, if you were to go out, a lot of people are making them at 7 and 8 grams. So you can get some strength out of there if you like it. All right, so let's move over to the Gran Baristo here. So you have more options up front here. So we have a espresso macchiato, cappuccino, the latte macchiato, and just froth milk, so you can access those right there. Then over on the other side, we have espresso, a long coffee, what they consider coffee, and then an American coffee. And one thing that the Saeco can do that the Gaggia does not is it has a variable pressure brewing system. So if you select these longer coffees, it'll use a lower pressure brewing to make more of a drip style coffee. Not exactly like drip, but more of a drip style coffee. It's also multiple users, so to get through the users, so one user is considered kind of like the Saeco symbol, and then you have these little icons here. And then each user can program the drinks the way they want them. And I'm going to pull off the water spout here, put this on. And it works the same way pretty much that you can program using press and hold. So we'll just run and one other thing, I should take this off. So for the taller glasses, this comes right off. And then you can get your taller glasses under there. So about the same clearance as on the Anima. So we'll run a latte macchiato over here and I'll program it. So I'm just pressing and holding. Again, it's telling me, make sure my carafe's on there and the spout's out. And we get that memo there, which again shows that we're in the programming mode.
And there's 6 strengths on the
yes.
Saeco Gran Baristo.
So
5 strengths on the Anima.
Yeah. Oh, and take a look at the drip tray here while things are heating up. Because like I said on the Anima, it's got that little raised edge around here, so nothing can overflow. You don't have that here. Again, it's not very likely that that's going to happen, but
just a difference. Yeah.
Just a slight difference. So same kind of a thing, once we get the amount of milk that we want in our cup, we'll just hit this button again.
So there's 6 15 one-touch options on the Gran Baristo, which is quite a few. It's because it
Yeah.
has that very presso brewing system where you have 7 espresso options, I think 5 of the low pressure options, and then 4 milk options. So quite a few drink options that you get with this machine, and that's where you're, paying a little bit more money for
Sure.
the Gran Baristo.
So I've got the amount of milk I want, so I just press the button again. It's going to store that, and I'll show you the menus in a minute. You can get in there and you can really program every drink for every user the way you want it. But again, that sort of style of programming is very, very similar to the Anima, and you just kind of do it visually. And that's the amount I want, so I'll press that again, and there we go.
Another nice looking drink.
Yeah. So there's our 2 latte macchiatos from the 2 machines. So let's go into the menu. It's just finishing up here with storing that.
And now both of these machines have a rinse cycle for the carafe while
Yes.
it's attached to the machine, so you can clean them after each use.
Yep. Although on the Gran Baristo, I don't think it's quite as intuitive it is on the Anima, where the Anima you just push a button right after making a milk-based drink and it does it. I think you actually have to go in a menu here. But let's go into the menus. So here's our different coffee profiles. So we'll go in there. So we were using user 1, so let's go into that user. And then here are your different drink options. So espresso, cafe crema, coffee, American coffee, cappuccino, latte macchiato. So these can all be programmed. Then it has some special ones here, espresso mild, intense, energy coffee. And again, you can program these, and it also has a flat white that you can program there. It's kind of a popular drink. Let's check that out. So here's where you go in and you check and say, okay, I want my strength here. And again, you've got 6 strengths. I like that strength. Coffee amount. So you do this, you've got kind of a scale here ranging in milliliters from 30 up to 260. And then you got the temperature here, so you have 3 temperatures to choose from. I like mine high, so I'm going to change that. And taste, this changes some pre-brewing a little bit, so you can change how much pre-infusion is done to the coffee. And then the milk amount, like a lot of machines like this, they do it by time. So you just select the time that you want. And then if you want, you can restore it right back to the default. It comes with some presets for, typical drinks and that kind of thing. So if you go back, then we've got more, settings in here, some maintenance stuff where you do descaling, some general machine settings like language, how long you want to go to standby, if you want to restore everything to default. And then it'll give you statistics on how many drinks have been made. And then that's the extent of the menus there. But it is nice you have multiple users and you can program every drink for every user the way they want it. Let's see. Oh, let's take a look inside because it's a little different on how that works. So like all of these sorts of machines are going to have a drip tray and a drag drawer. And again, I do like that raised edge there. And there's a positive lock on this. So you push these buttons in here, pull this out. So here's where our used coffee pucks go. I believe it's 15 that it holds in there. And then we also really like this drip tray here that's got the baffles in here. So as you go over to the sink, you're going to need to empty this once in a while. And the machine will tell you when. It kind of keeps stuff from sloshing around a lot in there. And also another difference, and notice how on the screen it always tells you what needs to be done. It's saying our drip tray's out. So the heart of these machines is the brew group. Here's the one in the Gaggia Anima here. So the maintenance on this, you just pull it out once a week, rinse it at the sink, no detergent, no hot water, just give it a rinse, get, like the coffee particles out, let it dry, and pop it back in. Once you find the little track, there you go. So over on the Saeco here, little different, it's all behind a door here. So I'm gonna just push on this, open up the door. So you have a drip tray up front here, which you pull off, and you're gonna empty that. And then there's another one inside. So here's our drag box with our used coffee in there and our drip tray. A little bit smaller maybe in capacity. The brew group a little bit different. Pulls out. Does the same thing as the other one, just looks a little different. Again, you just take this to the sink, rinse it, pop it back in, and that's the extent of the maintenance on that. And just like on the Gaggia, it's going to tell you when it needs all of these things done.
Okay.
So let me put the tray back in here. I really like the craft, the idea that you can just pull it out of the fridge when you want to, pop it on and make your milk-based drinks. Makes it really convenient. When you're done, you run the clean, you put it back in the fridge. You're ready to go for next time. So the big difference is, again, we got some stainless steel on the Gaggia Anima. Very easy to use. I mean, very, very simple. No really deep menus to go in, no program. You just use that press and hold. You have the 5 coffee strengths. Over on the Saeco Gran Baristo, you know, it's all plastic on the exterior. And you have the 6 coffee strengths, but you do have a lot more drink options, certainly. And each one can be programmed very specifically, and you can do that for a bunch of different users. So if you got a lot of people using the machine, that might be a consideration. Anything maybe we left off? I think pretty much covers it.
I think we got it.
Yeah. So again, that's the Gaggia Anima Prestige and the Saeco Gran Baristo.
And they're both available at wholelattelove.com.
I'm Mark.
I'm Morgan.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Hey, why not subscribe now for easy free access to more videos on everything coffee, brought to you by wholelattelove.com.
Hi, Mark from Whole Latte Love. Morgan is with me today.
Hey, Mark, what do we have today?
So today we're going to take a look at 2 of the slimmer super automatic one-touch espresso machines. We have the Gaggia Anima. This is the Prestige model. And then we have the Saeco Gran Baristo. So both very similar. They're both very, very slim machines. And we say one-touch super automatic, we mean a machine that can make a drink like a latte or a cappuccino at the touch of a button without moving your cup. And that's why you see the carafes here. These have attachable carafes, both of them. So first the outside, as you can see, the Gaggia's just a little shorter, 13.4 inches, whereas the Saeco comes in at 14 1/4. That's important if you have overhanging cabinets. Typically those are 18 inches high. And there are some things that you need to access at the top of these machines, so you want to keep those clearances in mind. On the exterior, on the Gaggia Anima, we have stainless steel up top, stainless steel on the front, and metal drip tray. The Saeco Gran Baristo here, it's all plastic, front, top, sides, and some metal on the drip tray here. So let's get in and we'll take a look at the Anima here. Just going over both machines, are kind of similar. So we have a water reservoir up here. This is removable. And you can see that's about how high you have to get. That's a clearance you're going to need there to get that out if you have overhanging cabinetry. But a lot of people will put these next to a sink and just fill it with a hose. Then over on the other side, this is where our fresh whole bean coffee goes. And we have an adjustable ceramic burr grinder in here. So you'd use a tool here, you press down